Hey, all, welcome in. Another edition, I guess, post-game edition of S2S Colorado Buffaloes Live. I'm your host, Manny. Make sure to follow on X at Manny_303, IG at 303_Manny. Also, make sure to check us out on any major, wherever it is you get your podcast, any major platform that you find this on. But yeah, tons to talk to. Post-game show. Buffs fall down to 0-3 in Big 12 play, 2-4 now on the season. It has been it's been a tough season. Right so far, that game was definitely a struggle. Tough one to watch, just like they I guess typically always are. Yeah, it has been tough. So yeah, where do we start with? It's a safe place. So yeah, chime in again. Like I say, it's always a safe place here. But it was Buffs fall down. They fall 35-21. It was kind of interesting, right? That spread gets covered at the end of the game, which was the 14 points. Yeah, unreal. Buffs go up early, 14-0. They looked great. They looked like things were moving, things were clicking. It looked like the Buffs were getting ready to put them away. And that is far from what took place. The Buffs started turning the football over, and I shouldn't say the Buffs, right? We seen it. Caden Salter started turning the ball over. It started to get ugly quickly. The game turned, and that last 3-4 minutes of the first half, TCU tied it up, 14 up. That was just a tough watch. I don't understand saving that timeout at the end of the half. If you're not going to run the football at least once there, like I did not understand that. Essentially, that's why you keep that timeout. Just a tough loss again, and we're here again saying the same thing of they lose another game that they should have won. That is 3 now on the year from my counting. Outside of the only game that was at Houston, that's the only game where the Buffs, lost that game and didn't do anything to, that's the only one that they really didn't have in control of. Fire Shermer. As much as I don't like Shermer, as we, know, I think a lot of this now falls on Salter, right? I know that at the end of the half, they shouldn't even have put it in his hands to make that play, to even make that kind of mistake, but that was tough, right? That was really, really brutal. Shouldn't have been thrown in the air at that point, right? Chad says the pick right before the half was not necessary. Throw it away. Yep. You seen that safety creeping down right there. And, it was just interesting. You kept hearing RG3 on the broadcast say, like, he goes, well, he's just not seeing the field well tonight. It's like, he has not been seeing the field well all season. So it's a problem. It's a problem right now. And I think that, right, and I don't want to keep continuing saying this, but it has to, you can't continue trotting that out there. There are so many big plays left on the field. We don't see the whole field on, when we're watching from home on the broadcast. But, in Folsom, those are pretty normal, those plays that are missed. They don't see a lot of them. Caden is struggling. And again, it's there's one point him, and I think it was more so towards the end of the game, Dallin and Dallin Hayden looked like they were arguing, and it was like, well, what are you even arguing about? The dude knocked it down. Like, what is the problem here? Like, throw a better ball, literally thrown right at him. So this team is finding ways to lose games right now. That is simply it. And I mean, I don't even know if it's fair to even categorize the whole team as this, but it's just like, you're finding ways to lose game. That one that kicked Cam Michael, the punt there at the end, I don't know necessarily if that's on Cam Michael. My hope is that you had Q yelling poison, right? Saying that the punt is short. Everybody get away, right? There's that poison yell that you need to on those punts. That's the hope on that one. But, right, underkicked ball is what happened. Yeah, the season is over. We want Juju. Yeah, and I think it's kind of almost been over, right? Like I think last week a lot of it teetered on, and dropping that game to BYU the way they did, shouldn't have happened at home. You're up 14-0, and again, you're up 14-0 again, and you cannot close it out. They find ways to lose games. It is hell, I don't even want to say that for tonight. It was bad quarterback play tonight. That's what lost the football game. Yep, and I hope we're on the verge of seeing Julian Lewis. This is what this team needs. They need a spark. This is what needs to happen moving forward. That is the future. Again, I thought this was a perfect opportunity to let Julian Lewis play, get him started on the first, and again, I know that you don't want to play him on the road at TCU, but they might have won that game tonight. So, you have 3 picks, and I think, what did I see? Humble Texans almost had 4 INTs. Yeah. The one that was blocked easily could have been a pick. Yeah, that last one is that last what was it? The dude just dropped it. It literally hit him right in the hands. That should have been a pick as well. So that's 4. They didn't catch it obviously, but it's a struggle, right? The defense showed up tonight, like bailing the offense out, and there's only so much they can do, like the bend but don't break, that kind of mentality, right? They sold out for the run on what was it? One of their touchdowns. They sold out on the run on that like 4th and 1 or whatever it was. And again, it's going to happen, but they need to be more disciplined, those kind of things, right? That man-to-man, it killed them at times tonight. Even that last touchdown, right? I don't think the Buffs would have took it and scored, but that last touchdown at the end of the game there, you're in man-to-man with cover 0. Like, I don't understand that. Hoover picked that up immediately, right? He audible the play, right? Like even RG3, I heard it before the play. It was like sluggo. You could hear him audibling. And it's like, oh, going to town, Park's right here, right? So again, they can't. That cover 0 stuff needs to stop. I don't know how many times they're going to get beat on that before moving to something different. Let me see. I was hoping. Chad says I was hoping for defensive points so we didn't have to put the ball back into Salter's hands. Yeah, it was. I didn't even feel good about getting the ball back, right? If we would have, that Salter would have let him down the field. There's something, I think as we get going, you start seeing teams start loading the box on the Buffs, and that is, make Caden beat you with his arm. It's not going to happen. So, at this point, it's almost what is he bringing different than Julian Lewis brings, right? Or better, because it's not like he takes off with the ball a lot and is, outrunning defenders to get the corner and to get the edge, breaking big runs or anything. It's that's not happening. So, I really don't know the point they're trying to make with this at this, right now. And again, I know Julian has just turned 18, but it can't get any worse. So hopefully that's the move. Get him going, get him started at Folsom this next weekend. Yeah, Salter's a choke artist. Yeah, it almost feels like when things get going tough, he don't want no part of it, right? Just kind of what I've been observing from just watching it. It has been horrific. Even then, yeah. Look, Humble Texan brought it up. Yep, Salter's 2-minute drill performance has been terrible. Yep, I had no hope getting the ball back to Salter. Yeah, it almost felt like if the defense doesn't force a big play here, nothing positive is going to happen. What was a struggle though was just watching the body language from him. It does not seem good. It seems off. There's just something. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure, but I am not. I think it's time for Julian Lewis. And it's just that simple. Oh, the 2-minute drill. I think it was, at halftime and the game before against, who was it? BYU at the end of the game. That's 3 interceptions and a 2-minute drill over the past 2 weeks. And again, that kind of stuff can happen. So, right, the 2-minute drill had no faith to rely on his arm. It's just not going to get it done. It's not cutting it. Changes need to be made. Let's see, Michael. My husband and I met at a CU football game freshman year. We have been diehard fans ever since. Go Buffs, go, for sure, always. But always, And I think just as much as all of us, we want him to. We want him to be good, competing every year, and it just is not going to happen this year, right? To be able to compete, right? And we'll be back here next week. We'll be at Folsom. I'll be at Folsom live, going there. But it just something got to change, though. Some changes need to be made here. And again, I hope RJ Johnson, again, I don't know his injury right now, but I hope he can make it back. Because that other side the other outside corner is hurting the team. Tayon Parks, again, you put him one-on-one with no help over the top against their best wide receiver. I do not know why they thought that was going to go well at the end of the game. Again, that was just a horrible call at the end of the game with no help. Again, if you're going to do it, just slide a safety over at that point. You guys didn't get home anyway. Your corners aren't covering enough. And again, to try to cover with Tayon Parks, Eric McAllister, one-on-one, that's not going to happen. So it was just a lot of this stuff has me scratching my head a little bit right now as to what's going on. I think, there is no more Travis Hunter on this team. And again, I don't know how many times you have to say this. There's no Cameron Sullivan-Craig. Those dudes are gone. There is no more Colton Hood on this team. Those guys are gone. You cannot run straight man-to-man cover zero and hope it goes well. You were playing Josh Hoover tonight. I am shocked that Josh Hoover did not end up with more yards in this game. And I'm a little shocked too. The Buffs made a game of this. I thought they, felt like they were going to go into this game and just the fill around the week. Just felt like they were going to go into there and just get blown out the building. But credit to them, showed up, they fought. But I think we can all point to the same thing as to what is going on with this team, where the problems are. It was a struggle, and even just my 3 keys to the game. First one was limit Josh Hoover. I think they did to an extent. I don't. He didn't pick them apart though. He didn't kill them. It was the turnovers, right? So I think that's a check mark. I did have. Where was it? Buffs haven't been stellar. Let me see. Where was it? To have them, they're going to need a turnover or 2, and that was not the case. They actually had 4 themselves, 3 interceptions, and that one punt that hit off Cam Michael. And again, that's not on him. It was just a terrible punt that happened to hit Cam Michael in the shoulder pad. There was one that I saw. There is adjustments have to take place. Mix in zone and man-to-man, and stop being in man so much. Stop blitzing on 3rd and long. We did see that a couple times. Again, blitzing on 3rd and long, and even on that last one, 4th and 6-ish, right? Blitzing for, maybe they were just trying to go get the quarterback at that point, but to leave Tayon Parks on an island is not, that was not a smart thing to do. Yeah, TCU played to win while CU played not to lose. Yeah, it feels like that. They come out the gates ready to win. That's what it feels like, and then something happens where they just go away from nothing's working at that point, right? It is unreal. And what I struggle with too is just the inaccuracy of Caden Salter. I didn't know he was this inaccurate. The dude looks like wants no part of it a lot of the time. So, but I do agree. CU, they get conservative and playing not to win, right? And it's or playing not to lose. That is what that's what it feels like, right? That's what it looks like. St. Dominic's Rosary, bro. Deion Sanders not a real college football coach. Your athletic director needs to be fired for hiring Deion Sanders. Colorado only hope is Deion retiring. This dude only cared about his sons. Yeah, that's not it. But thanks for chiming in. Appreciate you. I think if that were the case, he would have not have returned to the sidelines. So, Chad says Salter made some decent passes, hitting the receivers in stride, moments of hope, then moments of disaster, complete disaster, momentum killer. I don't understand. Yeah, it is. Same. I mean, the big mistakes that he makes are huge and flip momentum. They flip the script on the game. Everything starts flowing to the other team at that point. So it is it's tough. It is tough for sure. So this was a very winnable game. So yeah. But yeah, we'll continue, rooting for this team, continuing to hope, that they get some things figured out. But I mean, I do believe it is now. It is Caden Salter time. And just real quick too, if you're viewing us on X, that stream is going to end here within like the next minute. So jump over on YouTube, find me at Colorado at the Voice of College Football. We are live on there, so if you guys could just jump onto that one, if you guys could. So this stream, I think it's now 30 seconds or so is going to end. So again, Colorado at the Voice of College Football. You could find it on YouTube if you're watching this on X right now. But yeah, I mean, the second one was Caden Salter needs to make big plays. He made a couple. He threw it deep a couple times, 3-4 different times. Good things happened for the most part. Underthrown some balls that, again, right, you start doing this thing, in my opinion. I start doing it, I guess I should say. What I start doing is like, okay, well, Julian would have hit that one in stride, right? Like that's what I was thinking. Like he's going to hit him in stride. Like Caden Salter underthrows it, right? He didn't make the plays in front of you. I don't even know if he did that or not, or it is hard to see what he's even looking at, right? Like he doesn't let the plays develop. He freaks out. Oh yeah, here you go. G says Salter in shotgun, drifts back 10 plus yards with a pocket right in front of him. The constant sidearm throws affects his accuracy. It's obvious he doesn't like contact when he runs, mental breakdowns. Yeah, and that's what he was supposed to excel at, right? Like basically like running, right? That is what separates him from Julian Lewis, and it's not even happening. I really do think Julian Lewis could do the same thing. At this point, as far as yards go, and again, I don't. People really underestimate the wiggle, the athleticism that Julian Lewis does have when he does decide to take off as well. So, but yeah, it's just too many mental breakdowns. I'm with you, G. He is his accuracy, that sidearm thing is rolling out to his right, throws it sidearm, and doesn't see a safety there or a corner just sitting there. One of the DBs sitting there. It happens way too often at this point. And honestly, that game was lost tonight because Caden Salter, right? Those 3 interceptions. You can't do, and they're all in the first half. I get that, right? But those are one literally took points off the board, right? Like you just throw that one out. That's 3 points. You go into halftime, 17-14. You get the ball back coming after half. And just figure it out at that point. See what happens, right? Instead, yikes, here we go. It's like then everybody started pressing, it felt like, right? So it is not some things have to change. You can't continue to just keep losing like this and missing receivers, leaving plays out there and hoping it gets better because obviously, right now it's not. Neo, yeah, it says 2 games. They blew 14-point leads. I still watch them because of Dion, but this team is horrible. They find ways to lose games, right? And that is 2 straight weeks with 14-point leads, and then they start sitting on them or whatever it is that they're doing. Yeah, this cannot continue happening. This team does not have a killer instinct. They don't put their foot on anyone's throat. But I really do think some things have to change. You have to make a change right at the signal caller at this point. And again, as we all know, going to Staub is not the answer. I think it is time, right? Again, I've been saying this for 3-4 weeks at this point. I think it was after who was it? The Houston game. I was ready. I was like, let's go. Like this has to be it. This has to be it. You got to start getting him in there. Against Wyoming, he should have been the starting quarterback. You're just delaying the inevitable. And again, maybe they just want to not be wrong with recruitment of Caden Salter, but it's okay to be wrong. It's perfectly fine to be wrong here. But Julian Lewis, again, that is the future. I truly believe, though, they may have one or 2 more wins if Julian Lewis has been starting. I do think they would have won tonight, and I do think they would have won last weekend against BYU. So, you put those 2 up. I do believe Buffs win that one, and I don't know about Georgia Tech as much, just because that would have been a tough game to go into as a true freshman, 17-year-old, but who knows at that point, right? Again, there was still a lot of plays left out there as well. So I would say these last 2, I think Julian would have a W would have been the outcome of these. Domestically, G says yeah, I wouldn't complain about seeing Juju and getting ready for next year, unfortunately. Yeah, I think it's that's just kind of where we're at, and I think I was there going into this game. I predicted a 41-17 loss, so glad it wasn't that. Glad this thing was tight and exciting. But I think it's time to let Julian start playing, getting his reps, get those growing pains out of the way now, and let's see what we got here, right? And you got to start getting these receivers involved because this happens again. You're going to see a lot of these dudes hit the portal this offseason, right? Right? Because then they're going to be like, well, we're going to have to go through growing pains again those first 4 or 5 weeks with Julian, right? So my hope is that they get Julian in. I think he has to be the one. He has to be the signal caller. I'm going to continue rolling with that. I know now I think I'm on like week 4 at this point. But I do think it's time. It's overdue at this point, in my opinion. Let's see. I want to see GG2, but I don't see it happening. Salter is to see you what DJ Lagway is to Florida. That's funny. Well, they beat Texas today, so play calling on both sides. So yeah, stop going away from what's working. So tonight, I will say they continue trying to run the football, but it does get to a point, right? It did get to a point where they were loading the shit out of the box on them. And that's when you have to start taking your shot plays and throwing it, knowing what the coverages are. And that's not what happened. Right. So, but I do like the way they tried to stick with the run tonight. And again, you don't throw don't throw 3 picks and have another one, on a punt. That's, I think they win this game and can continue running the football. Let's see. EJ Miller, can someone please explain why this team never plays zone? DB is getting burnt all night, so easy to scheme around man as well, as we saw at the end of the game. Yeah, and that was one of the keys to the game that I had is more zone coverage. Like you should be at this point when you're down this many cornerbacks. Tayon Parks cannot play man-to-man defense right now, and again, maybe that's something he can grow into, but right now he can't, and that's just the reality of it. So. No more man-to-man. Again, I don't run a soft zone if you need to. Make them drive the whole length of the field. Do something different because this, the shit's not working anymore. So I'm with you there. But I think most of us have been calling for this for quite some time now. Let's see. Actually not impressed with Hoover and TCU. He still got spanked today, 35-11 by Texas Tech. Yeah, Texas Tech is that is a different team. I was on the I was on the Big 12 show and predicted. They looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, I think Texas Tech wins by at least 3 scores and 4 scores actually. Well, 24, depending if you go for 2-3 straight touchdowns, right, and make it. So they basically won by 4 scores though. So, but yeah, Texas Tech is going to run the table in my opinion. Arizona State may get them, but if they're going to win the Big 12, though. Texas Tech's they're a whole different beast. They were so much faster than Houston out there. I am glad we don't have to play Texas Tech this year because that would have been rough. That would have been a rough one. Micah Welch got close to losing a few. Needs to be careful. Yeah, he was down. Luckily, he was down on both of them, but man, hang on to that ball. So, but he runs hard. The team was, they were getting after it. I don't know how many the running game was working, for most of the game. And then I think teams quickly realized like, we're just going to make Caden Salter try to beat us with his arm. And I think as they're starting to figure out is that Caden Salter, he struggles with reading defenses and using his arm and figuring out where these balls need to go every which way. It is he's just struggling right now. And again, I think it's time at this point, like I've said. And again, I'm going to keep repeating that. We got, so Dallin Hayden, I just wanted to see how close we were to getting a 100-yard rusher. 9 carries for Dallin. He had 9 for 61. Micah had 12 for 40. Damn. Dallin averaged 6.8 yards per carry. Damn, that's pretty good. So, so that's where we were. Draylon couldn't get it going tonight. But this team, though, there's I think now it's, you're playing, they got to go out there and they got to develop Julian Lewis. And this is what the reality of this is. And again, as much of a fan I am of Arden, Arden Walker and Keaton Wade and those guys, like I think too, you might even need to start playing London Merritt and our guy, Baby Crosby, Alex McPherson more, right? Like they may be getting more reps than they already are getting at this point. Like maybe time to start turning to these younger dudes. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. And again, it's not like giving up or anything, but I think it is. Let's get these guys going and start prepping for next year. And to be honest with you, man, London Merritt isn't. That dude is freaking. Gosh, that dude is. I still can't believe him and Alex McPherson are true freshmen. Those dudes are playing high school football last year at this time. I still cannot believe how good those two are. Alex McPherson is just that dude is a freaking animal. Baby Crosby and London Merritt. London Merritt looked good tonight, man. He was giving that tackle. He was giving him hell tonight, giving him fits all night long. So man, he looked good. London Merritt looked good tonight. That is one that I was happy with when the Buffs signed him. But yeah, it was good. And then what happened to Greaves tonight? I don't know. Mate had a rough night. Tonight. He may have lost that. Oh shit! I just saw this. So sorry. Breaking. Caden Salter. Defense played their butts off. I got to do better. I got to make quicker decisions. Sweet, man. Duh. Like I don't know what else you're gonna say to that. Again, he's a kid. I shouldn't be that upset or that mean about it. But yeah, Greaves, he's not the best punter in the country anymore. He's had 2 rough nights. So Mate struggled tonight. Special teams looked weak, major mistakes. Yep. And I think we just think of it as special teams. That's that 5th. A lot of people, all phases of the game we think of, right? All 3 phases. That one gets overlooked so much that can win and lose games quickly, just based off of a one wrong play, one wrong read, run, not filling the correct lane, or maybe my hope is again that Quentin Gibson yelled out like poison when that ball was kicked short, right? Because that's typically what you have to do, or whatever their code word is for a ball, meaning run away from it, run, clear out of the way, and you start yelling poison, pointing down to the where the ball's going to land. That is my hope. Again, if that didn't happen, again, I get a true freshman mistake, but that kind of stuff can happen. So I am, I don't know if we'll ever hear about that, but curious if something does come out that was not yelled. And my hope is though we get to see Julian Lewis come out, light it up with Amarian and Sincere, and just get these dudes going, JoJo, and the rest of the crew. I do want to see Cam Michael out there at receiver at some point as well. So, and as well as Quanell Farrakhan as well. So we'll see what this team continues to build. We'll see what they look like next week. They get Iowa State. I'm curious with Iowa State how that looks though, because they're going to come pretty pissed off next week as well after losing to Cincinnati. Let me see, Chadwell. Total yards, TCU 369, CU 343. Those 4 turnovers were costly. Buffs through 3 quarters look good. 4th quarter is bad. I think did they convert 3 of those? 3 out of the 4 turnovers. Let me see, because the 3 out of the 4 were those all for touchdown? I mean, they would have to be. How many points did they get off turnovers? I want to say for 3 out of those, right? Because that one before half obviously they didn't get points off of. But the punt, I think they got a touchdown off of. At least 14, I think, right? I'm not 100% sure on how many points off turnovers they got. But gosh, I wish I could see that. But I think it was at minimum 14. It might have just been right at 14. So, I'm not sure on that. If you guys have that information on them, I know the one before half didn't, and maybe one of the Caden, one of the 3, 2 of the 3 didn't go. I'm not sure. So I want to say at least 14 points, and part of me wants to say they got 21 points off of turnovers tonight. So I think it was just 7. So let's see, because those first 2, because they were up 14-0. Yeah, I'm not even sure. I'll have to look that one up. we better than Iowa State talent wise, but hopefully that translates to win. Domestically, G, yeah, I would say we're better than every team we play talent wise. In my opinion, I think that this roster is really, really good, and to continue giving games away like this it's the most frustrating part, right? Like it is. I think we're better than every team we played so far, talent wise. We gave this one away, we gave the BYU one away, and the Georgia Tech one away. And again, those are, that can change your season. But as it sits right now, 2-4, getting Iowa State at home, and I'm guessing that we're going into that underdogs. Like I don't even know what the line is, but it's probably around 3.5, 4.5, somewhere in between there right now as underdogs at home. So I don't know what that game's going to look like, but if they trot Caden Salter out there again, he's going to struggle. I just, and again, I think this is the perfect time to get Julian Lewis in, get him in there. You have the bye week again, bye week after Iowa State. Work on those things that he needs work on, get him ready to go. Even 2 weeks to go, correct mistakes. So, we'll see. Yeah, since he does look good. Sorby. Yeah, I don't even remember him looking like that last year in Boulder because for some reason I was like, man, that's that same quarterback, right? And I knew that going into it, but it was watching him today. I was like, man, that dude, wow, he looks really good. He looked really good today. So, they're a team that looks like they're in the hunt for the Big 12 as well. And I think the clear-cut favorites though, it got to be Texas Tech because man, they're fast, they're big, they're physical. They look good. I wouldn't even be shocked if they get into the playoffs and win a game. Texas Tech is lights out. So that is where that's the best team. And the shitty part with Tech is it's not going anywhere. They're right in the middle of the game. They landed the 27 number one defensive line prospect. So I don't know if you guys caught that or not. What is his name? I should know this, but Dion Buffs ripped by fan. That's not the one I'm looking for. It was a Bleacher Report. Maybe I got rid of it. But they landed the number one defensive lineman in the 27 class, though, did Tech. So, it's not letting off anytime soon with them. But yeah, well, we'll be back on Monday. We'll do a game review of it. Go through the drive. All the different drives throughout the game, in order. But yeah, just hang in there, and hopefully we get some news about our guy Julian getting ready to take over. And right, we had that picture of Shador handing him the keys, right? And hopefully that's the case. Yeah. Yep. Texas Tech is talented and well coached. Those guys are real. Yeah, and I didn't understand that. I heard a bunch of Colorado fans saying, "Well, gosh, why am I drawing? Their head coach. I'm drawing a blank right now, saying that he's not a good coach and he's pretender and not real." I was like, are we watching the same thing? Because Texas Tech, I mean, man, for what they've had these last few years and able to do what they did even last year, like I thought that he's done a pretty good job with Texas Tech. So now he has a ton of talent, and man, no one's even getting close to him at this point. I think it said they have who did they have next week? I think I was looking at that like, holy cow, they're gonna kill whoever it is next week. Let me see schedule. They have somebody that's not Kansas. So Kansas in Lubbock. They're gonna kill Kansas. And then they go to Arizona State. I do think they win that one. If they're gonna drop any game this season, that's the one. But they go Kansas at Texas Tech at Arizona State. Then they get Oklahoma State at home in Lubbock, Texas Tech at Kansas State. Then they get BYU at home, UCF at home, and then go to West Virginia. Like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna run the table though. If that Arizona State game doesn't get them, I think they're gonna run the table, and I think they win that game as well. Dion has more loss than wins as the Buffs head coach. Something has to change. I mean, yeah, and I think all signs point to the quarterback. Because this is. I don't know why they're sticking with Caden this long. And what was Didn't like the move to Staub either. I was hopeful behind him, ready to roll with it, but you're right. We all kind of knew that wasn't going to work. So, yeah, just continue. Hopefully, some things change. Hopefully, we get to see our guy Julian Lewis moving forward. So, but yeah, well, I'll be on Monday, same time as always, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But yeah, as always, we'll be here. Frustrating to continue watching this team lose these games and finding new ways to lose. But yeah, as always, appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for hearing me rant a little bit. Thanks for airing out your guys' concerns. They don't go. Again, you guys are the best part of the show. Appreciate everything you guys do. Watching it, viewing, liking it, subscribing. All of those things. Make sure to give me a follow on X at Manny_303 and Instagram at 303_Manny. And any of the podcast platforms, you guys can find me on those. I did reach out to our who deals with that about Apple, because we're still not on there. I know the Voice of College Football Network is, and a couple other shows, but we will continue. I'll continue pushing with that. So again, do appreciate you guys, and and let me get this up as well for you guys. We do have. I've been kind of posting this for everybody. So if for sports betting, we do have with Rebet. If you guys click this link, there is a offer. Get a 100% purchase match up to $100 by clicking the link I just posted, or you guys can use the link or the code VOCFBCU. So Voice of College Football CU, and I'll even put that in the chat. But it'll give you a 100% purchase match up to $100. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, GAMBLER. So if you guys use that, again, don't know if you bet on sports or not, but pretty cool site to use if you guys are interested in it. Use that code. It'll help my channel out, obviously, and then you get a 100% purchase match up to $100. But yeah, appreciate you guys and everything you guys do for the show. But we will catch you on Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We'll keep rolling with this thing. We still a lot of football left to be played. At least we get to talk about football right now, and at least these games are entertaining for the most part compared to where they were years ago. So, but as always, as we always say, right? Like Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter always said, "Go Buffs, baby!" All right, guys, have a good evening. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll catch you guys next week. See ya.